Tonight's hostage deal, which Israel's cabinet just approved a few minutes ago, calls for a 4-day pause in Israeli military operations in Gaza. Now, before the break, Barak Ravid told us that his sources say that military engagement will not stop until the first child hostage crosses the border from Gaza into Israel. CNN's Jeremy Diamond is in southern Israel at a vantage point right near the Gaza border and can see into Gaza and has been watching much of the fighting over the last several days and weeks. Jeremy, what are you hearing tonight? Well, just as you were coming to me, John, we heard the sound of outgoing artillery and moments after this deal was approved by the Israeli government. We heard several barrages of outgoing artillery in the direction of the Gaza Strip, an indication that the military activity by the Israeli military will indeed continue until this pause goes into effect until those hostages are released from Gaza. So, and also one clear point that the Israeli Prime Minister made this evening was that even as he was urging his cabinet to approve this deal, he was also making clear that the war will continue after this pause ends. We also need to be clear that if you look at the past of this Israeli-Palestinian conflict, typically before there is a ceasefire, before there is any kind of pause in fighting, there is an uptick in military activity. So we're very much here waiting and watching for that possibility. But, John, I do also want to tell you about a conversation I just had with Gal Hirsch, who is the Israeli Prime Minister's special coordinator for hostages. You just told me moments ago about this deal, about the discussions in the cabinet meeting where he said that only two ministers voted against this proposed deal. He said that the finance minister, Smotrich, who appeared to be indicating his objections to this deal, actually ended up voting in favor of it. And he also told me that he delivered a message just about a half hour ago to the families of some of these hostages, telling them that the state of Israel will do everything to bring all of the hostages back home. And he really did want to emphasize that this deal for 50 hostages in exchange for a 4-day pause in fighting, as well as 3 Palestinian prisoners for every civilian hostage release from Gaza, that this deal is only the first phase of these negotiations. He really wanted to emphasize that the Israeli government's position is that they want to get all of the hostages back and that this military campaign, that these negotiations will not end until that happens. Jeremy, I am curious, you said that the official with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that he had spoken to the families of the hostages. We had the granddaughter of one hostage on about 20 minutes ago and she said she's had no communication whatsoever from the Prime Minister's office. So how is the Prime Minister, insofar as we know, reaching out? Yes. So this is Gal Hirsch. He is the special coordinator for hostages for the Prime Minister. He didn't say exactly how, but he said he delivered a message to the families of these hostages. And what's also clear is that, they don't know yet exactly which families of hostages are going to see their loved ones released. He would not get into that. But I also think it was interesting that when he was talking about the 50 individuals who will get out, he said children and their mothers. We have been reporting that it would be children and women. But I think it was really interesting that he was specifying that it would be children and their mothers. We know, of course, of multiple cases of children who were being held hostage in Gaza and who were taken hostage with their mothers as well. And so that may give us some indication of the families that are most likely to get out in this first round of hostage releases over these 4 days for those 50 different individuals. That is perhaps an indication there. All right. Jeremy Diamond, right on the border between Israel and Gaza, where artillery fire has continued even after the deal has been reached. Jeremy, thank you very much for your reporting. With me now is Rami Igarashi, former chief of the hostages in MIA unit of the Mossad and retired U.S. Army Major General.